Hey guys, welcome back to the Laid Back Homestead. I'm Crystal, and today I want to share with you my top 5 flowers that not only thrive in the heat, but I'd say they actually beat the heat and provide awesome color in your garden all summer long. First up on this list, and yes, I am seed starting these today as well. Number 1 is sunflowers. Now, I know. Who doesn't know that a flower named sunflowers would be king of the garden during the summer? But it's more than just that. I deal with a lot of leaf-footed bugs and a lot of stink bugs, and they are attracted to the sunflowers. So super vital, super important to have in your yard. I am so angry with myself. I did not start them early enough this year, and the ones I had just didn't make it. And I have a few different varieties that I'll share with you. I am going with a sunflower ice. It's supposed to be like a creamy color, so that'll be nice. I have a very generic mix, different colors. See there. I have the evening sun variety, which is a mix of reds and oranges. We have Paradovic. I started some of these in another video. I'm still waiting on them to bloom, so I'm going to start some more. And then this one's called Teo. So I'm going to get started with those. All of these seeds, all of these flowers that I'm going to mention today can all be direct sown. So if you're somebody who really doesn't have the space to do a proper seed starting setup and you still want something really pretty to look at, these 5 varieties will help you out. However, because I don't have as much space at this property that I would like to, I am going to be starting my seeds in either trays or paper towels. And specifically, my sunflowers are going to go into paper towels. So you can see here, I have 1 Ziploc bag, and I labeled where each variety is. And I'll come out in a couple of days, and what I'll do is I will, if these come up, I'm just going to direct sow them around the various places. So number 2 up on my list of top 5 are, of course, zinnias. If you need something that's really low maintenance, you can't go wrong with zinnias. The only caveat to that, the only issue I've ever had with zinnias is could be powdery mildew. I don't deal with powdery mildew here often because it's so hot here, but in our spring and in the late fall, as it gets cooler, because it's so humid here, it's humid here all year long, unless it's like the middle of winter and we happen to have a cold front come through. But every other month out of the year, it's super humid. So these are really good where it's also really hot because I don't deal with the powdery mildew as much. Now, if that's not true for you, let me know in the comments below. So the varieties I am going to be starting today, I have the Queen Lime Zinnia. I have the Macarenia Zinnia. I have a white polar bear. And then I have the Aztec Sunset. Now these I am going to be starting in my seed trays. And these seed trays, I believe, were Burpee. I got them off of Amazon, but they have the silicone bottoms, so it helps to pop out your plugs. Had these now several seasons. They've held up really well. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and get these planted in. My tray of zinnias is done. Some of them I doubled up on, did 2 rows because I have older seeds. And I don't know if you saw that in my other seed starting videos, I've really dealt with germination rates this year. So if you do choose to grow zinnias, of course they come in a multitude of colors. They're absolutely gorgeous. But you can run into like aphid problems. I can't really say I've had that, but if you do, I've read that it's recommended to plant them between, I guess this is more if you're growing it for a cut flower, to plant them between garlic and nasturtiums, which would be great if it was either garlic or nasturtium season, which it is not in Zone 9A, Southeast Louisiana. It is currently 91 degrees outside, real feel 109, with what feels like to be 250% humidity. So my nasturtiums opted out months ago. But I really grow flowers mainly to act as trap crops, so I'm not too worried if they happen to get hit up with the aphids. I don't know if you can see, I have bird feeders back here, and I have been getting bullied by some cardinals that want to eat in peace. And I'm just like, I live here, so I'm gonna handle my business first. So number 3 on our list is cosmos. These are new to me this year. I've never grown them before, so I didn't know what to expect, but they have done spectacular. I have 2 kinds here. I had started this seashell blend earlier in the spring, but they didn't come up for me. So I'm gonna go ahead with 2 rows of those today. What did come up was the orange out of this Cosmos blend, and I am just blown away. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these going. These are great if you live in an area where you don't have a lot of water. They can handle a lean soil. I mean, they certainly have held up to the heat here. I mean, we are in mid-July. So this will be interesting. Our hottest month is August. So if they survive August, I'm gonna have these in every color that they have next year, for sure. All right, number 4 on my list, everyone's favorite plant to repel pests in the garden, marigolds. Marigolds are amazing. They come in another wide range of color. I already have them out because I don't ever plant out tomatoes or peppers really without marigolds around. They are known to really repel like nematodes. That's what I've read. I haven't had an issue with nematodes, so I'm going to go ahead and assume it works. But they can also attract aphids, so I find it helpful just to use them as a trap crop. Now, some of mine are not looking the best right now in my garden. That's partly my own fault. I haven't been deadheading, so I went ahead and took care of that today, but I'm going to go ahead and start some more. I am doing the Kilimanjaro white just for something different. I mean, I have yellow already going around. And then this Marigold Antigua formula mix. So get those in my seed trays. All right, guys, number 5 on my list, Tithonia. And yeah, you're probably thinking you said that wrong, and you may very well be right. If I did, let me know. I'm all about learning here. Anyway, Tithonia, AKA Mexican sunflower, AKA vegan manure, is supposedly one of those plants that when you chop and drop them, their NPK level as they break down is similar to chicken manure. Hence why it's known as vegan manure. Now, let's talk about these. If you saw, I have already started a whole packet of these in another video. And I bought these seeds brand new, 2025. My germination rate was terrible. Now, I have shopped with Baker's Creek for, I don't even know how many years. And I don't know. This was the first time I'd ever planted these. Could be user error. I'm not going to sway you away from trying them. The ones that came up, I actually have planted out at my homestead property. So these guys, they can take the abuse, not only the heat, but where they are now, they're not getting watered. It's 90 plus degrees. They're not getting watered. So, and they're thriving. They're doing fine. They haven't bloomed yet, but that's because I planted them out just a few weeks ago. But they're growing. They're growing right alongside my wax myrtles that I had planted out on the property. Again, another drought-tolerant bush that can also handle the Louisiana heat. But all that to say, this so far is probably the toughest thing I've grown that really could take the heat. So I'm going to start more of them, but I'm starting them for this property so that I can have them around and use as the green manure or the vegan manure. All right, got my second tray of heat-loving flowers finished. Now, if you are going to direct sow these out in your flower beds or out in your beds, just make sure you keep that ground moist. That would be my biggest tip there, because so often if I go out and I direct sow seed, I forget about it and then I don't water it and then nothing happens. So I just wanted to say that even though these act as great trap crops for a lot of the pests that we deal with, aphids and things like that, they also attract the beneficial predators to a lot of those pests that we deal with. So all of these flowers will attract, ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, and hoverflies. So whether you grow them as simply a trap crop or you grow them as cut flowers, they are truly beneficial to have in your garden. And they look pretty in a little vase too. So there you have it, my top 5 heat-loving flowers that will keep blooming all summer long, well into fall. If you have a favorite heat-loving flower, I'd love it if you'd share it with me. I'm always open to grow and try new things. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, stay blessed.